Hi, Nick Edwards from Korg UK here with GAK.co.uk. Today we're looking at the Korg Volca FM. This is our brand new addition to the Volca range. Great new FM synthesis, slightly different from the other Volcas. Let's have a listen. Okay, so we've got the Volca FM here. Brand new Volca for us. A little bit different this time round because it's digital, it's not analog. So FM synthesis based on the classic kind of DX synthesis from the 80s, and very powerful. We've got full architecture of the original here with 6 operators and 3-note polyphonic and all of your classic kind of DX type sounds. So for instance, this E piano here we've got here. So having 3 notes, you can play up to obviously three notes at once. Some of the kind of classic sounds you recognise from the 80s, all your kind of bass sounds, stuff like this, synth brass. But of course where it really comes into its own is where you start exploring new sonic kind of pastures in here, as well as being able to crucially load via SysX all of the original DX7 patches, which is quite something. So you've got a massive palette of sounds here to go at. What we've tried to do is simplify FM synthesis, because as we all know it can be quite complex. So we've given you access to just a few different parameters, which are the important ones really, and then you can change your sounds through here. So if I just start off with this morph bass sound, for example, if I want to start shaping the sound a bit, I can change the carrier attack, which is effectively the envelope, and also the decay. But to start really delving into that kind of FM side, it's great to go into the modulator envelope. So here, you get that kind of sound out of it, and also change the decay. So it stops quickly, or like that, so you get that really nice suck kind of sound. We've also given you LFO, so if you run some vibrato to it, change the rate, you can do that and then bring it back. This one's just to change the sound, and this one changes the algorithm. You get access to all 32 original algorithms from the DX7. Again, amazing thing in the Volca FM. 2 faders as well, so you've got the velocity. As we know, big part of FM synthesis and the expression side of it comes via the velocity, and you can also transpose in octaves, but you can also, if you function it, do it chromatically as well. So you can choose really between those two different modes, which is really nice. Great thing as well, obviously we've got MIDI in. I've got a MIDI controller hooked up here. It's one of our tactile controllers, and all of these parameters will respond to MIDI CC or control change messages, which means I can map them very easily to here, including the faders as well. So that really comes into its own when you're sequencing externally, of course, via MIDI as well, because you can write in nice automation in your DAW, or if you're controlling it live. So if I just dial up another sound here. Okay, so I've got my tactile hooked up via MIDI, and I'm going to use this patch called Glass Pad. It's a poly sound, so I can play up to 3 notes. And I've actually got the controllers set on the tactile to send the MIDI data across. So for instance, as I turn it, you can see it's lighting up on the Volca, and the attack is changing, or the decay. So you get some really wonderful kind of metallic, kind of smooth effects. Okay, so another new addition to the Volca FM and the Volcas in general is the fact it's got an arpeggiator on there. So that's controlled via these 2 controls here. So I can hear the sound without an arpeggiator, or I just turn this and then you still start seeing the types of arps. But you can also change then the division, which is effectively the speed of it. So 1/1 will be 16ths, and then you can go quicker. And it goes quite rapid when you get right up to the top end. So that's brilliant. And obviously you can use that standalone like that. It'll sync to the tempo that you're currently working at. But also you can use that as part of a pattern as well. You get some really interesting patterns going by using the arpeggiator in conjunction with that. When I'm talking about the pattern, I mean, of course, the 16-step sequencer, as we have in all Volcas, and that's really at the heart of what the Volcas are about. It's about being creative, not just with sounds, but also patterns as well. So let's select a different sound and have a go at building a pattern. Now, at the moment, I've got it synced up via this cable to the Volca sample. So it's sync out of the sample into the Volca FM. So it's just giving me a basic drum loop. But crucially then, the Volca sample is acting as the master clock. So if I change the tempo there, the Volca FM will follow, and you can daisy chain as many of the Volcas as you want, as well as some of our other analog gear and other manufacturers as well, using these sync cables, which also come included. So let's make a pattern. First of all, I need to just clear what's there. I'm going to start my drumlet going, hit play, hit records. So we've got our loop there. Just to explain quickly what's going on with these voice modes, we're in poly mode at the moment. Now, because we're on a bass sound, we don't necessarily need it in poly mode, so we can go into unison to fatten up the sound. And as you can also see, we've got a chorus effect, which we can turn on and off, which is on at the moment. So all of these things go in to kind of add to a fatter sound, especially with basses. So we've got a pattern now. But what's great is we can, if you want to, record motion sequence, motion record, some people call it, automation if you're working in software. It means I can record any of these parameters into the pattern as I play. So let's record some velocity changes. Now you can hear that that's recorded. And that gets recorded and saved as part of the pattern, as well as the notes, of course. So to save, you just hit right, and then you can save them into any of these 16 locations. It comes preloaded with 16 patterns already and 32 patches. So there's plenty to go at, and of course you can overwrite all of this stuff inside. What's great about the Volca as well is that obviously being a full DX7 internally, we can't edit easily from all the controls, but what you can do is go deep into the edit mode, and then that's where this card comes into play, because it gives you a list of all the parameters inside on operator level and also globally as well, which are the blue ones. So on the reverse of the card we've got the 32 algorithms from the original DX7, so you can see the structures of them all.